Okay, so my two-sided tape has been applied to the hinges, and use your tool to press down to make sure that it's taped really well. So now I'm going to start by putting all my pages in order and make sure they're not upside down. Okay, I'm going to be working like this. So I'm going to start by the front, and I lift off a little bit of the tape backing and just fold it down forward like that. Take your album and you slide the pocket over the hinge like so, like that. And you want to make sure that it's nice and flush along the bottom. You might want to open the flap to get it out of the way. Okay. So now I center it top to bottom, and I fold it down, make sure that it's going to be nice and straight. And then I just press over the area where I removed the tape backing, and you hold it in position as you remove the tape, and you press down. You can remove your tags too, that might make things a bit easier. Okay. Then I flip this over, get an X-Acto knife or another sharp tool, and you're going to fish out the tape backing from inside the pocket, like that. And you pull and press down. Make sure you don't rip the tape backing, pull gently. Press. And the first page is attached in the album. I do the same thing for the next page. I'll remove the tag, open the flap, pull a little bit of the tape backing forward, place the pocket over the hinge like that, center top to bottom. Now I'm going to fold it down forward, and I can line it up with the previous one to make sure that it's straight. And then I press over where I removed the tape backing and remove the rest of it. Press down. And then I fish out the tape backing from the back of the hinge. And there's page 2. So once you get going, it goes pretty quickly. So do the rest of the pages. Oops, this goes like that. Attach the rest of the pages inside the album. Once your pages are attached, you can then start inserting your tags. I'm going to line inside my album, and I'm going to use this paper. So what I'm going to do is flip the paper around, and you line it up excuse me, so that the top of the page, the top of the paper is equal with the height at the top of the page, and you draw a line so that it's equal to the bottom of the page, like that. And that's where I'm going to cut. I'm leaving about 1/8 border here between the page and where I'm going to attach the paper. So then on the left side, I'm going to leave is about 1/4 to 1/2 inch here. I'm going to leave about 1/4 inch on the left side, like that. Okay, so I'm going to cut here and here. I put some two-sided tape all around. If you're using a thicker paper to line, where there's a lot of movement around here, you might want to use glue on this edge instead of tape. But my paper isn't too stiff, so it should bend quite easily without pulling. So I'm going to put some two-sided tape all around the edges. That and across the middle. Now there's going to be a lot of action going on here where the cover folds, so I'm going to put a strip of tape right up against the just the beginning of the spine. It's going to cover this little hole, the gap. Don't go up any higher than the page, otherwise the tape will be visible. So I'm just going to lay that down like that, and also don't go down further than the bottom of the page. I'll put 2 strips of wide tape. I want that like that. So start by removing a little piece of two-sided tape backing from the outside end. Position your paper so that it's nice and straight and about 1/8 of an inch away from the base of the first page. And make sure this is lined up straight. And then you can remove the first strip of tape backing. Lift up the rest. Lift up the page and remove the rest of the tape backing. And don't forget to remove the tape backing from the covers. Then lay it down nice and flat. You can use a bone folder to press. And then where that crease is, just gently press in as you close the album, like that. And then press down there. Make sure it's very well adhered. And there's the inside of the cover. I didn't put a closure on this mini album. If you wanted to put a type of closure with brads, you would do that before you line the inside. But it's such a small album, and the idea behind these is they're quick to make, so I didn't even put a closure on there. You could put, after the insides are matted, you could punch some holes and tie it with ribbon or some chain, put some eyelet in there if you wanted to. But for the sake of this album, I'm just leaving no closure. So do the same thing to the back cover. Measure your paper so that it's about 1/8 of an inch away from the bottom of the last page, and it goes across, lined up with the top and the bottom, and about 1/4 inch from the edge. So both my inside covers are covered with scrapbook paper. Now here, in this album, I put one of the journaling tags on the inside front cover, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm also going to put a little button on my tag, so I took this one that has a little eyelet, so it's going to help me position where the button goes. But I mean, you can just use a plain one. If you earlier you printed out some extra journaling tags for your side tabs, you should have 2 left, and you can use one of them to put here. So I cut around the journaling tag. I removed the black portion, and I matted this on a green piece of cardstock, and I taped on the back. So I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to position it right in the middle of my cover, about like that. So I'm going to keep the embellishing for later when I'm all done. So now on the back of the album, I have another one of these pockets. This one is a little bit wider. It fits the width of the back cover, less about half an inch, quarter inch, half an inch, so that it doesn't interfere with the fold in the album. So go ahead and make your pocket the same as before, following the dimensions, and then we'll insert it into the album. Here's my pocket ready to attach. So it measures 5 1/4 by 3 inches high. I punched my border, and then I trimmed my corners diagonally, folded up the hinges, and I applied my 2-sided tape. So now I can attach my pocket to my inside back page, and I'm going to position it so that it's lined up with the right and the bottom edges of my inside paper. So I just position that along the bottom of my matting paper in there, and I press. There we go. Now I've got my little piece that I'm going to use to mat the pocket. So the album is basically constructed, and all we need to do now is the embellishments. I've heated up a glue gun, and I'm going to attach some lace cover like that, and I have it pointing towards the back. Be very careful you don't burn yourself, like I seem to do a lot. Okay, so I position my lace, and I'm just going to hold it in place and lift one edge, and I think I'll just start by putting a little dab of glue along the edge here, just where the cardstock meets the scrapbook paper, and I'm going to lay it down just to get it to hold in place, and then it'll be easier to work with. Okay, let that cool a bit. Now I'll finish tacking down the edge. And to glue the rest of it down, I find it easier to apply the glue to the lace and then I position it down, because sometimes if I'm a little wobbly and I put it directly on the scrapbook paper and I end up crooked, it's a lot easier to position the lace straight. So I'm going to do that. Now you can also put your lace on before you cover the inside, but I find that it makes it a little bit bulky and it'll show through here. And this fabric doesn't unravel, so I just cut it to size and I'm just attaching it like that. And then I do the same thing on the back. It's hard to tell if there's a right side and a wrong side to this lace. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. Now, I've picked my image that I want on the top of the album, and I removed the black border and I slightly inked around the edge, and I matted on cream colored cardstock and I inked around the border there too. And I'm just going to place this like that, centered on the cover. Now I might embellish this album a little differently. There we go. And I'll finish embellishing that a bit later. I want to work on my chain that I'm going to put on the side. Okay. I already punched my eyelet. Now it's a little bit high on the album, and earlier in the tutorials I do have a screenshot that mentions that if you're going to punch an eyelet attached chain to the top of your spine, when you attach your binding and your pages, you'll want to attach just a little bit lower so that you have room to punch your hole for the eyelet. But I'm going to be covering this up anyways. I think I might put a flower or something on it so that it will cover the eyelet. Something a little bit different for this album. But I want to add my chain and my little charms. And these are Halloween themed, so I'm going to add the same as I did on this album, like that. I punched my hole, I attached my chain, my little charms. And this is just stitched on the lace, so it holds there. So if someone didn't want that there, they can just cut the stitching and remove it. So I'll show you how I do that. I'm using this pretty thick chain, and obviously that won't fit through my hole in the eyelet. So I'm using smaller chain to attach it. This. So all I do is I'm running this through the hole like that. And then I opened up one of these loops, and I'm just going to run that through the ends of the smaller chain. It'll be easier, I think, if I run it through one side first. Okay, now I can loop this back in. Okay, so I've got my two ends tied together, and I'll just use my pliers and close that. Okay. So there's my little chain that's attached, and I'm going to attach my charms to it. My larger charm, this one, will attach to the very end, and I'm going to use these little jump hoops to do that. So I'm going to finish attaching this, and I will embellish the cover of my album and the inside, and then I will come back and show you the final product. Here's my completed album. I finished attaching the charms to my chain, and I stitched the little hand to the lace here, and that just holds it in place. And I've got these little ribbon roses. I put them on the side instead of on the front of the album this time. And on the front, I made a little frame out of bling, and I put a little ribbon rose on the corner. So it's very simple, but I think it looks cute. And then on the back, I just put one of these die-cut tags for a note for journaling or to put a date on the album. And then inside the album, I have a little button with a ribbon, with an embroidery thread tied into a bow. And I put some rickrack on my tags. And here's a little journaling spot here, or just room for a date or a title. And then I put little flowers on top of each of the flaps, and they alternate white and orange. So here's the other tag with the rickrack, and I put some more little bling on the triangle here. There's my little flower. And here I just put a plain ribbon attached to the top of the tag. So it's very colorful because I'm using a whole bunch of different colors in here. There's a little white flower, journaling spot, and the blue rickrack. Again, a little flower. And here with the bling, I put a little acrylic flower that I had. The colors I thought went really well. And there's the last page. So that's my little mini album, and I hope you enjoyed working with this tutorial. If you want to have these tags, if you want to purchase them, you can get them either in my Etsy shop or on my website, and I'll include the links below in the description of these videos. They're actually cheaper on my website because I don't have to pay any Etsy fees. So I hope you enjoyed working with this, and please send me photos of any albums that you've created yourself. Have a nice day.